I love dogs.
Yeah.
I do. I want to do something that we've never done before. In my mind, there are dogs that I've had in my life or my family's had, even dogs. Oh, dude, I've got some dog stories that it just hit me. Like, there's some stories that are maybe too gold, they're pearls. I don't know if I want to give them up. But yeah, I just love dogs, and I want to know about your dogs because we're friends. So can you tell me about the most important dogs in your life? And yeah, I just want to meet your dogs.
What a wonderful opening to a podcast conversation. I would be delighted, honored to tell you about my cherished dogs. Where do I want to start? I think we should probably just go with the dog I have right now. Because
Maya?
My right now dog is my favorite dog ever.
Maya's your favorite?
Yeah.
She's great.
Solidly my favorite dog. Okay, here we go. Maya is a Pomsky. She's half Pomeranian, half Husky, and that was on purpose. A scientist was like, what if we took that thing and then that thing? And what if we grabbed like a little boy Pomeranian and just ran up real quick to a girl Husky and just like real quick? Because I don't know how that would actually happen physically. I don't think they can. So at any rate, in a lab, a guy with a coat.
Just so you know, it can happen.
Well,
because we used to have a dog named
this is
Chester.
already off the rails.
Yeah, it's already. We used to have a dog named Chester.
Yeah.
Chester had a nickname.
What was the nickname of Chester?
Well, Chester was like, he was like part Chihuahua, part Feis.
A what?
Feis, like a squirrel hunting dog. And oh man, I regret all of this. I'm starting to sweat.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So Chester had a nickname, which was Chester the Molester.
Oh no.
To be clear, I hated Chester. He was not a great dog. I was just using Chester as a data point to tell you that a small Chihuahua-like dog can, in fact, mate with a tall Doberman, for example.
Walk me through that.
No, I will not. There has to be...
Dude, Maya is a Pomsky, and I cannot tell you how many nights I have laid awake staring at the ceiling thinking, yeah, but how? So walk me through how.
No, I mean, there's some kind of
We're
agreement.
all adults here except for the kids.
Yeah. Yeah, we should maybe make a content warning.
Okay.
I mean, there's just participation on both sides.
Really?
Yeah.
Some kind of primal wolf instinct that's left over there that is like,
maybe
we're going to proliferate our
Golly,
species.
why did we start with Chester? What? You led me right to Chester.
I didn't do that. Maya did.
That's like the worst dog I've ever had.
Well, the best dog I ever had is Maya.
Let's
She's
go
a
back.
Pomsky.
Okay, Pomsky.
Some scientist somewhere was like, this is happening because it's not an accidental Pomsky.
Okay.
It's a designer dog for fancies.
Okay.
And there's a family in another state who's like, we want the Pomsky because you get all the best features, if it works out, of both species, and all the nightmare features go away. So walk me through it. What are your impressions of Pomeranians and Huskies, positives and negatives?
Well, Huskies are beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, didn't your grandfather breed Huskies?
Dude.
Yeah.
That's like we've been friends for a long time or something.
Yeah, I mean, dogs are important to me. So you tell me stories about dogs, I remember.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think Huskies are beautiful. One of the negatives of Huskies is I think they're more for a colder environment. And so I've got friends that have Huskies. They're very energetic, like very, very, you have to burn the energy. So I would say a positive, was it Call of the Wild that I read when I was a kid? Or was it, White Fang? It was one of those books about...
They're both Jack London, right?
Are they? I don't remember.
Think so.
Yeah, I remember reading a book about Buck, which was a dog that had part wolf, part husky or something like that, and he became a sled dog.
It's like a metaphor for a person who feels the call of the wild.
Oh, is it?
You see, right, because you're like part tamed, but you're also like partly derived from nature.
That's what
And
that
when
was?
you get out in, I mean, that's usually what that theme means. Yeah.
Wow.
Seems like that's the appeal of a husky is it's just a little bit untamed.
Oh, okay.
It's just a little bit great white north.
Yeah, and something about the blue eyes of a husky.
Yeah.
It's like you're staring into the eyes of an ancient animal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Oh, golly, man, you get it. And you've never owned a husky.
No, I've always wanted to, but I've decided against it for the reasons I said. You know, they're big, they're gigantic, and I just don't think
I think you're thinking of a Malamute. A husky's not 45 to 55 pounds.
Well, I just don't think it would be kind to own a husky in Alabama for the hot summers. That just doesn't seem like that would be a great thing for the husky.
Yeah, there's a reason it's the Washington Huskies
Yeah.
and not the Alabama Crimson Huskies.
I want to do it this way. This is great.
Yeah.
I want you to tell me about your first dog. I want to go like a long time ago and walk back.
Do I get to come back to Maya? Because I'm excited about Maya.
Yeah, I love Maya. Please come back to Maya. But let's take me to the beginning when you first. What's your first dog memory?
Okay, but I'm putting a pin in. What do you think about Pomeranians? And we're coming back because I want to know that as much as I want to know what you think
my dad
about
has a
Huskies.
Pomeranian. We'll be there.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
Okay. First dog was, I don't even know the breed. It was a tiny little baby fuzzy dog. And my mom named the dog Cameo.
Okay.
And that could be derived from one of three things. One would be like, oh, look, we were doing something as a family and then the dog showed up for a second and was like, hey, and then left. And it was like an appearance, a cameo. But I don't think that's what they meant. Or it could mean a reference to the 1980s one-hit wonder singer who did Cameo do Word Up? Word Up! I think that was Cameo.
Oh.
But I don't think Mom liked that, so I don't think it was that. Or it could mean a reference to like a Victorian-era light pink brooch with a silhouetted woman facing right.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I think that's what Mom would have meant because Mom was into that kind of Victorian era. She was into it then. She's into it still now. That Victorian era fashion on up through like big band Prohibition era fashion.
Mm-hmm.
Mom super loves that. And maybe all the way up into like black and white, Bogart and Bacall kind of stuff. She's a big fan of that. And so I think Cameo was her name. Cameo had little...
what kind of dog was she?
I got no idea. It was some kind
mutt.
of dog. No, it was a nice little lap dog. But now I look back on that and I'm like, I was a little brown lap dog. And Cameo was super nice. And Cameo liked to cuddle. And I was probably in 3rd grade. And Cameo was, when it was sleeping time, Cameo would try to hop up onto my bed and I'd have to help her. And it was real sweet. And I remember one night I was laying in bed with my dog, Cameo. And
Your first dog.
First dog.
Okay.
That I remember. And I was thinking to myself, I got this assignment. I have to write a story for Mrs. Clark's class. Oh, it was 2nd grade. Mrs. Clark's class? Yeah, I think that's right. And I wrote a story in my brain that night with my dog laying there called The Cameo Egg. And it was about how the puppy was born out of a special egg. And a little boy one day woke up and he went downstairs and his parents had put an egg on the floor. And there was a note that said, when this hatches, it's yours. And then the little boy was so excited because what came out was a non-gooey, fully formed, fuzzy little puppy named Cameo. Who
Like
loved
Gremlins.
him. A lot like Gremlins, yes. Yes, but without the exploding in a microwave.
Yeah.
And I turned in the story. I think I received positive marks on the story.
Oh, yeah.
My parents saved the story. We still physically have the Cameo egg, which I wrote.
Do you really?
And I found that a few years ago when
So
we
you
were
could
moving in
read at this time.
Well, yeah. I could read at this time.
Okay.
And the story demonstrated a remarkably low understanding of mammalian reproduction, but it was a heartwarming thing nonetheless.
I'm sensing a theme here. So you, as a child, you laid in bed thinking about how mammalian reproduction happened.
Yeah, as eggs in living rooms.
And then as an adult, you did the same thing with dogs.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a thing.
Destin, I'm still not 100% sure where dogs come from. I know you do a lot of science and stuff. I was kind of hoping the outcome of this conversation might be some answers.
The first dog I remember interacting with like, this wasn't my dog, but it was the first dog I remember interacting with, was a little red dog. It kind of had like medium to long hair, and I remember a white stripe on the dog, and it was my grandmother's dog, and the dog's name was Bambi.
Oh.
Yeah. The way I understood dogs to work, before I could read, was they lived in a literal doghouse out behind your grandmother's house.
With an arched door.
Not an arched door. It was a square door. It was a
Okay.
white door a white doghouse with black shingles. And I remember that there was a stainless steel bowl on the counter.
Okay.
And it didn't matter what you had for dinner. All the scraps went in that bowl. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've been around families where that's the strategy. I can picture that.
And so after dinner, grandmother would take the scraps out to this. I can still picture it's under the walnut tree. She would take the scraps out there, and the land falls off right there, and she would throw the scraps on the ground right there, and the dogs would come eat it. And I understood the way a human relationship with the dog works is the dog gets the scraps, and the dog provides that, and they bark when people drive up in the driveway.
Endearing.
Yeah, and Bambi was lovely. It was a really interesting. So that was like the formative, like, oh, this is what dogs are, and we would play with Bambi. She didn't fetch or anything like that. So Bambi was the first dog I interacted with. She wasn't my dog.
Bambi doesn't sound terribly sophisticated, though. Like, that's not
No.
a hop up into bed and cuddle up and inspire a story kind of dog.
No, in the South, you have inside dogs and outside dogs.
Okay.
So Bambi was an outside dog.
What does an inside dog look like in the South?
So an inside dog is a dog that'll jump up in your lap, or a dog. I have two dogs currently. I have Buckshot.
I know Buckshot and like Buckshot very much.
Yeah, Buckshot's great. She's getting old and cantankerous.
Not with me. Like I haven't seen you keep saying that, but I keep not seeing the cantankerousity.
Well, we got a new dog, and honestly, the reason we got the dog is because Buckshot's like 14. And so we need to, in dog years, 7 years or whatever?
111.
Okay, whatever that is.
That's
Is
even.
14 times 7 111?
Dude, no. I don't think so. Is it?
I was about to say, I've never done 14 times 7 in my head.
I don't think that one is.
So we got a new dog, which is a golden. So Buckshot is an Australian Shepherd and part lab. Part Australian Shepherd, part lab. Mostly lab. And she's great. She's very smart. She's the right amount of protective. Somebody drives up she doesn't know, she'll check him out, and if she wants to, she'll bark. But if it's at night and we're asleep, she will bark. So she is the ideal amount of, I'm going to alert you that someone's here.
Yeah.
It's ideal.
How does she know?
I don't know.
How do they know?
I don't know. They also understand the pitch of certain engines. My red Chevy truck that I had forever, when I would pull in the driveway, if it was my engine that pulled up, she wouldn't bark because she knows the pitch of the Chevy 350 engine. She knows the frequency that it operates at. And so it's fascinating. But if it's a different engine, she's going to unload on you. And so it's fascinating. But we got a new dog. It's a golden retriever. And dog names are important, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
And so I believe I mentioned this to you before, but the kids could not agree on a name.
What were the leading candidates?
They had names like Copper and Summer and all lame names.
Summer, that's a Game of Thrones name.
Is it?
Yeah, it's one of the Don't Matter start kids. Wolf's name is Summer.
So what I was doing is I was like, the kids are fighting and they can't come to an agreement. So I'm going to teach them that it's important for them to agree quickly or daddy's going to take over.
Yeah, it's a very important life lesson.
And so
or
I
else
started
something horrible.
I started calling the dog Booper Snoot.
Yeah, I've heard you use that. That's why you do it.
Princess Booper Snoot.
It's a cautionary tale.
Yeah.
Has that stuck?
And the kids are like, no, this is Booper Snoot. And so I just every day, hey, Boops, how's it going? What's going on, Booper Snoot? And so that's how I talk to the dog.
Does that make the tail go?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, it works.
And so I just picked a course, went with it, stayed the course, and then pretty soon they were like, "Dadgummit, this dog's name is Princess Booper Snoot." And so finally we reached a compromise, and they understood quickly. They're like, Dad's going to name this dog Princess Booper Snoot unless we do something. So they got together and they said, "We've decided Summer. We're going to name the dog Summer." I'm like, "Well, it's too late. This is Princess Booper Snoot." And they're like, What about What if we call it Princess Summer Booper Snoot? I was like, I can roll with that. And so I call her Boops. Hey,
that's
Boops.
wonderful.
So do you have a dog voice?
But your dog voice is Cartman. That's
I don't
awesome.
know. It's just that I walk in and
but wait.
Yeah.
No, that question.
Yeah.
I do have a dog voice, but are you talking about the one I use to talk to the dog?
Yes.
Or the one that I use when I'm projecting what the dog is saying? Because those are different voices.
Oh. Well, I don't project what the dog was saying because a dog is a person.
Oh.
And so that would be the same as me projecting what you're saying when
You
you're
do
sitting.
that. Yeah, but you do that.
Do I?
Yeah. Like you have a me voice.
Do I?
It's, I think you do.
Okay. Yeah, you're right.
Maybe.
I do.
Yeah, I think you do.
I do. You're right. Yeah. Okay. So what's your dog voice?
Oh, my dog voice is always probably inspired by some cartoon from childhood, but it's I'm a dog and I want to go outside. Like I think it's like how I imagine George from Grapes of Wrath or Lenny from Grapes of Wrath talking.
Okay.
That's what I think dogs all sound like. I want the beans and ketchup. I will eat your ketchup. I also like steak, even the parts you do not like. I will take the steak, please. That's what all dogs sound like. Doesn't matter if it's a boy dog or a girl dog. They all have that voice.
No. Dogs are far more sophisticated than that.
That's so sophisticated
No, it's
still.
not. So my first dog. So growing up, we had 2 dogs.
All right. This is not Bambi.
No, Bambi
That's
was grandmother and
grandma dog.
granddaddy's dog.
Okay.
So my first dog, the official name was Destin's Thunder of Trinity. That is the vet name of the dog. I lived in a little town called Trinity, Alabama.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, Destin's Thunder of Trinity. And we had another dog named Nickel, like, dime, nickel, quarter, like Nickel Nickel was this little bitty black dog with a lot of hair, pretty old, and then Thunder was a Great Dane.
Oh my.
And so when we got Thunder was smaller than me, and Dad made a comment at some point like, yeah, I wanted to get you a big dog so that you'd have to get tough or something like that. So it's like, you ever heard the song A Boy Named Sue?
Yes, I have.
Figured you'd have to get tough or die.
So the point is he should have got you a much bigger dog.
Yeah. So I used to take Milk Bones, the little dog treats, and I used to spend hours. Now, unfortunately, we didn't have a fence, and so Thunder lived on a chain.
Aww.
It was awful. Dad didn't like it, but he had to do it because the dog was so big, and we got into a bad situation where it was just Thunder was just too much.
Yeah.
And so Thunder had to live on a chain, but I would go out there and play with Thunder all the time. And I had taught Thunder how to get up on his doghouse, like get on top of his doghouse. Basically it was me just taking a dog biscuit up there and he would jump up. But I thought I had, quote, trained a dog.
You trained the dog. That counts.
Yeah. Anyway, Thunder was huge. Dad said, this is Dad's account, we should just call him in a minute. I'll text him and we'll call him. Yeah. So anyway, you tell me about your dog. I'm going to start texting my dad and see if he's willing
Yes,
to.
I am pro
Yeah.
call your dad.
Okay. Go ahead. Tell me about your dog.
Well, I want to finish the story of Cameo.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
She ran out in the street and got squashed. That's the end of the story.
Oh, dude.
Yeah,
You can't kill a dog in a story.
That's what happened. She got squashed. It was by a car.
Why did you do that?
That's what happened. I mean, those are my memories.
You're aware of doesthedogdie.com, right?
Yes, I am. We've talked about this. Yes, I am. These are my memories of Cameo. We got her. She crawled up in my bed. I wrote that story. We took a family photo together, and she had a pink ribbon on her neck. She got squashed.
Like immediately?
That's all I got. I don't know how long we had that dog, but it wasn't very long. But I really liked Cameo. I imprinted on her, and likewise, we were dear friends. We were bound for life, or for like a week and a half before she got
A week and a
squashed.
half is all you had her?
I don't know. I have no idea on the timeline. It seems like I had her longer than that. I
Well, you
really
wrote
like
a
that
story.
dog. I wrote a story, and we still have it.
Okay, Dad's replying. I said, yes, I am. Can I call you with Matt on the podcast? So the way Dad remembers the story is going to be better. The way I understood it is I did something wrong, and I deserved a whipping, and he came to give me a whipping, and Thunder wasn't having it.
Oh.
That's the way I understand the story. And to be clear, my dad was very, very good about discipline.
Yeah.
Discipline was always done in a loving way. Every time I ever got a spanking, I deserved it, and it was useful in correcting me and making me into the man I am today. So
I would say the same about my parents.
yeah, and I'm glad that I was given the benefit of discipline, and so I'll say that. And if anybody has a problem with that, I don't really care.
In happy days when my whole family was together before the passing of my younger brother, my kid brother and I were fighting in the living room. Not like fighting. We were wrestling, grappling around. And Dad jumped in, which was awesome that Dad jumped in on our grappling. And he starts wrestling Mark. Well, my cat, Angel, who's like Maine Coon in size.
Big cat.
Big white cat.
Not as cool as a dog.
Yeah, he was tough as nails. I mean, he took down a Canada goose in the backyard one time at our house. The cat sees what's going on, and he's like, oh, no, I'll have none of that. You won't mess with the young boy. And he ran up, and we all saw it coming, including my brother, except for Dad. Claws out to the side, like you can picture the tiger just ready to go, the snow flying everywhere. Claws out to the side, fangs out, and just 3 points of contact lit into my dad's butt. Claws, fangs, and Dad just, and then the cat's like, I did that.
I just ran away.
Skulking.
So the way I understand it, I haven't asked Dad as an adult what Thunder did to him. There's another thing I don't know about Thunder. Thunder got heartworms, and we took it to someone. He went and lived out in a different place. I think he lived somewhere with a bigger yard. What I don't know is if
Thunder... you did not get to see Thunder through to the end of his days.
No. So my question is, did Thunder get put down because he had heartworms, or did he actually live out there on the farm? I don't know the answer to that.
It has occurred to you that as a concept for an episode, every single one of these stories except Maya, Buckshot, and Summer ends with the dog dying.
No.
Okay, well, I'm going to make that occur to you.
Crap.
I think we should still proceed, but it's just kind of...
It's just kind of how it works.
One of those... I mean, that's why you get a dog, right?
Okay, whatever. Let's call Dad. All right, calling Dad.
Speaking of dogs, this episode of No Dumb Questions is brought to you by RAYCON, which makes premium earbuds.
the best earbud to wear when you're walking your dog.
Near dogs.
No, Raycons are awesome. They come with this little charging pill. I call it a pill. It's a little box, and you plug in your little USB cable, and you charge the box up, and it's got a little internal battery. And then when you drop your earbuds in with the magnets, they kind of click in place, and they have little contacts, and they charge each individual earbud, and they're really good at Bluetooth connections. Some Bluetooth devices don't connect that well. Raycons certainly do.
Yes.
And so I love them. They're everyday carry.
So if you want to try them out, you can go to buyraycon.com/NDQ, and you get 15% off your order, which is awesome.
It doesn't matter if you're ordering one pair, several pairs.
Yep.
Yeah, whatever you want to do, 15% off. They're awesome. You're going to like them. We only talk about products that we love. Raycon fits the bill. Buyraycon.com/NDQ.
Putting you on the spot, when is the last time you had a Raycon earbud in your ear?
I was on a flight, and I listened to the end of my audiobook.
The only reason I have not had one in my ear this morning is because it's 9 a.m, and we started doing this immediately. But I had them in all day yesterday. I just always with me, super reliable. I pop open the case, we're connected. It's not like my stupid truck or my other dumb things where I have to push 97 buttons and it might work for a second. First time, every time. Love them.
They work.
And isn't that just what you want in an earbud?
In Bluetooth, for sure.
That it works.
Yes, you just want it to work.
I'm for that. The other thing I want is for it to not fall out of my ear. And the Raycons, they got the little gummy like ear fit thing going, and so you can try different sizes and it will stick in your ear properly. I like smack the side of my head like I'm trying to get water out in like a 1950s cartoon, but the Raycons, they don't fall out, they just stay right in there, which is what you want. So to support the program here and to get your own set of Raycons with 8 hours of playtime, 32-hour battery life on the pill, and it started like half the price of other premium brands, you can go to buyraycon.com/NDQ, and then you get 15% off your order. Again, that's buyraycon.com/NDQ. Thanks to Raycon for being an awesome long-term sponsor, and thanks to you for supporting the program.
This is fun.
Hello.
Hey, Dad.
Morning, Daryl.
Hey. Good morning. Good morning.
We're sitting here recording a podcast this morning,
Okay.
And we're recording a podcast about dogs.
Okay.
Do you remember Bambi?
I do remember Bambi. Yes.
Yeah. Bambi was grandmother's red dog, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And then I haven't told Matt the name of your other dog. You had a dog with a really weird name, right?
I've had a number of dogs.
I think you know which one Destin is referencing, though. I get the impression that the name is distinctive enough that you guys are on the same
Banjo?
page. What was it?
We're talking about Banjo?
No, you had a dog named Satan.
What now?
Oh, I did. Buck and Satan. That was hound dogs. Yes, I did.
Why did you name the dog Satan?
I was a young coon hunter, and you get out in the woods with a bunch of friends and everything.
Yeah.
You want to be a little different. I guess. But it was a red bone hound.
Yeah.
It was a pair of red bone hounds, Buck and Satan. I've got a dog pen back there by where I keep the tractor where I kept them.
Is that what that is? That was a dog pen?
Oh yeah, that was a dog pen. That's where I kept Buck and Satan.
You keep saying it, but it keeps not feeling normal.
So.
Well, yeah.
So I have another question.
Yeah.
I told Matt about Thunder.
Yes.
And I was telling Matt about the difference between inside dogs and outside dogs, because that doesn't seem to be a concept that translates to where he grew up. And so
yeah,
you would agree there's inside dogs and outside dogs, right?
Absolutely. I think I did not like inside dogs at all until I got married.
Yeah.
Your mom had a dog, and Joby's a little papillon. That's a French word for butterfly.
Oh.
And that was an inside dog. It's a small dog. It wouldn't survive outside for very long because it would be prey for either an owl or a hawk or another dog. But when I used to go eat breakfast with my friends at Cracker Barrel, I would get pork chops and eggs. And when I would come home, I would get the bone and the pork chop, keep it in my pocket. And I'd come home and the dog knew that I had the bone in my pocket. So, dogs bond with one person, and, it's usually a lifetime bond. With that dog right now, I had to walk in when my phone rang. I was walking through the door, had to close the door so Joby wouldn't follow me. Every step I take, that dog was looking for a pork chop bone right now. That's an inside dog.
Okay.
People mentioned on the latest video that the dog that was in your lap was living its best life. So.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. The dog makes every move I do.
Tell me about Thunder.
I want to know what an outside dog is.
Oh, an outside dog. I'm sorry. Yeah, what's an outside
Thunder?
dog?
I weighed 173 pounds, and Thunder weighed almost 170 pounds. You had to keep Thunder outside, and we lived at a place that had a chain link backyard, and Thunder could run and jump. And he left piles everywhere. There's no way Thunder could live inside. But Thunder was the kind of dog that was just so big that he couldn't be in the house. He would wreck everything. Destin, you remember Thunder's full name?
Destin's Thunder of Trinity.
That's right. I'm surprised you remember that. You was a young man then.
I wasn't a man. I was a kid. I was a young kid even. So
Thunder was about as tall as you were when we first got him, or you could lay all over Thunder. I remember that.
There's two stories about Thunder that I don't. I haven't asked you as an adult. I remember something about them. So the first story is, my understanding is I did something wrong, and it was time for me to get a whooping.
Oh yeah, I remember that. A Great Dane is very protective, especially of young people. You cannot spank a kid around a Great Dane. They will not allow it. And Thunder will stand on the person trying to speed or, spank the kid. They're very, very protective. They don't tolerate violence against their owner.
Well, I think that's a good dog right there. But what did Destin do? Why did he need a spanking?
I don't really remember that part. He did a lot when he was young.
Yeah, when he was young.
For the record,
There's a lot
thank you for spanking me and caring about me enough to actually discipline me. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So
I
what did the
did.
dog do? I mean, did you decide that Destin was going to get a spanking within the range of the chain?
He tried to push me down and stand on me. You know, I didn't discipline Destin around Thunder. I learned quickly.
It seems like he did knock you down and tried to stand on you. Is that right?
Well, yeah, he tried to.
Wow.
Yeah, well, I was pretty agile in those days.
You could defend yourself. All right. So what about
Yeah.
the next thing I want to ask you before I figure out what happened to Thunder?
Okay.
What about outside dogs? So inside dogs like Joby are always in your lap. You're always petting them. But what is the characteristics? You know, what is the use of an outside dog in your mind?
Protection of your house. You know, they bark if anything comes up. They keep coyotes. Right now, I'd like to have a good outside dog and protection of my goats and chickens. You know, I have fences around my chickens and goats, and coyotes come up at night, and with a good outside dog, you know, they would alarm and chase them off. Right now, I've got motion detecting lights around the fence and everything that come on and scares the coyotes a little bit until they get used to it. Urbanized coyotes are pretty smart.
Yes, they are.
But outside dogs, 90% of it, we had one, let's see, Trudy. I had someone come up at night one night. It was a police officer, thought that a 911 call had been made from this house, which it hadn't been. And the police officer was walking up the sidewalk, and Trudy went whoosh between me and the officer real quick. A black dog running real fast. He said, "What was that?" And I said, "That was my dog." Said, "She's fast." I said, "Yeah, if she had wanted you, she would have got you too." But no, that is an outside dog. She's good. She's fast. She's a little bit aggressive. She's old now. Can't walk around very well. But an outside dog is protection and alarm. You know, there are dogs that you can put in the fence with your goats that you don't pet and you don't personalize. You just let them do their job, what they were bred to do, trained to do. Now we use donkeys for that.
What was your favorite dog? Oh, Matt, you didn't know
Rex.
donkeys?
We use donkeys for wait, what?
A donkey will kill a coyote.
I mean, I guess I could see
Donkey
the
will kill
effectiveness.
anything. Yeah, they kill a cougar with that in a heartbeat.
Matt doesn't know this.
No,
I'm
I
looking at
didn't
his
know
face.
that. I wouldn't have thought. I wouldn't have thought of getting a guard donkey.
Oh,
Wow.
It's a thing.
You
Yeah.
need to Google that. Yeah, that works. They're effective.
A
They're
donkey
good.
will grab an animal by the back of the neck
Yep.
and just shake it to death.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. Not a
Yeah.
joke. They are dangerous.
Grab and hang on. Yeah, bite their vertebrae in two.
Wow, they just look so galoopy with oversized head and goofy shoulders shaped the wrong way. They all look like
Yeah.
Eeyore to me.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I'm having a bit of an awakening right now.
Yeah, they're very effective.
Dad, what
Very
was your
effective.
favorite dog ever?
Rex. That was my first dog that I had for 16 years.
You know what my dad's favorite dog was? Daryl.
Are you
What?
joking? Well,
No, but that'd
Was
be
it
awesome
really?
because my
Wow.
dad's name is Rex. No, he didn't have a dog named
Oh,
Daryl.
is-
Matt's
Yeah.
Matt's dad's name is Rex.
Wow. Well, Rex, my best friend ever in this world was Rex. I had a really good friend in high school.
Rex taught me how to woodwork.
Oh.
Rex is awesome.
Rex could do anything. He was a welder. He was an electronics. He was an electrician. He could do anything. Anything.
Hey, for the
Hey,
record, we're talking
yeah.
about dogs, but I just realized that
Yeah.
I got you on mics and we're talking about Rex, and
Yeah.
Matt needs to know one story about Rex.
No.
Tell
yeah.
Matt about the one time Rex saved your life.
I was foolish. Yeah. One time Rex saved my life. Are you talking about the swimming pool when I put the swimming pool in?
Yes.
Okay. I put the swimming pool in, and when I put the water in it and everything, I had forgotten to glue a PVC joint. and my concrete apron around the pool was about 10 feet wide. So I finally figured out where the leak was, and I had to tunnel in through the concrete to get to it. And it was a tunnel that had an inclination downward, not maybe 10, 15 degrees. But I dug it out, and I didn't work on it that day. It rained, and it had leaked a little bit when I put more water in the pool. So I got the glue for the PVC in my hand and started to go down into the tunnel that I had made to glue the PVC joint.
So this is a human-sized tunnel. You were belly crawling in there, or what?
Yes, very belly crawling, and it was a small enough tunnel. You had to have your, hands out in front of you and everything. And it was wet, and the box that the sand filter for the pool came in was behind the garage. And I didn't want to get that muddy, so I folded up the cardboard a little bit and kind of poked in there so I wouldn't get so muddy. And I was slipping down in there to do the gluing, and the cardboard was very, very slippery, no friction or everything. So I got in there with my hands out in front of me, and I'm going to do the gluing, and I slid down and had to stick my hands out front of me to stop me from sliding down. And, they went up to my elbows in water, and my face was just in front of the water.
Oh.
And I was stuck. I could not get out. I could not back up. I tried long enough that I was almost exhausted trying to get out. I thought, this is really smart. This is really something to do. Go dig a hole in the backyard, crawl in it, and die.
Face first. How long were you trying to push yourself out?
It seemed like an hour. It was probably about 10 to 15 minutes. But it seemed like much longer than that because I couldn't, with my feet, I thought that I could just, with my feet, grab with my toes and everything and push myself back and take my hands and push myself back. But my hands was stuck in the mud. I could not even get back to the point where the cardboard was. I was stuck. I was going to die.
And your face was just right on the water. You were barely able to crane your neck to keep
very close.
Your nose and mouth out.
Yeah, very, very close. Now I had probably, that's where I was going to die. I tried for quite a while to get out. And then Rex come over and he said, "What are we doing today?"
Grabbing my ankles and pulling me out of a hole. That's what we're doing, Rex.
He did. He grabbed my ankles and pulled me out of that hole. But he had to reach in to grab the ankles. I was, I'm 5'6", maybe 5'6", 5'7", and the concrete was 10 feet. Just the fact that he even knew I was back there was lucky for me. But Rex saved my life there. He grabbed my ankles and pulled me out.
Attaway, Rex.
Well, to be clear, there's a lot of things about that story that you don't know unless you knew their relationship. So Rex would just show up. He would just show up, and they would do things together.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And the way the hole was positioned relative to where the road is, was Rex driving the old brown van at that time?
I don't really know.
The only thing I can think of is he saw your feet or he saw something you left outside the hole.
He was probably going to check and see what kind of job I did on the swimming pool so he could come in and criticize it or something. We were going to go drink coffee. But he was probably going to circle and he was going to come in and criticize. It'd
be neat to have a friend you could drink coffee with.
Oh, yeah. He was a very good fisherman, and we would go in to drink coffee, and he would pull his boat behind his thing, and everybody in the town, the small town, a few thousand people, maybe 20,000 people, would see Rex's boat, and they would stop and they would go look and see what Rex had tied to his fishing line because he was so good at fishing. They wanted to know what was biting. And Rex knew that, and he would take a pull tab from a Coke can or something like that and tie on his line, and people would go out and try to go fishing with this aluminum pull tab. He would put ridiculous things on there. He knew they were, they would spy on him, but he was very good. He could catch fish when no one else could. But it was because he was smart.
Yeah, he was
because
he was really smart, and he also I don't know. he was smart, but at the same time, he
didn't look it.
He didn't look it.
Look it.
He looked.
No.
I remember one time. I'm so very glad that Tara actually got to meet Rex.
Yeah.
He died of cancer the year I met Tara, actually, and I remember going to one of the softball games that my sister was playing, and we were sitting on the bleachers there, and you're young and you're dating, and everything's sunshine and roses, and so I can't remember. I think I was scratching her back. We were sitting side by side. I had my arm around her, and I was scratching her back, and Rex was sitting behind us, and he just started scratching her back, and I put my hand back. I didn't know it. And she goes, oh, hey. And, she turned around, she's like, hey. And he was scratching her back. He goes, oh, I'm sorry. I mean, it looked like fun. He was doing it. I just assumed we were all doing it. So he's the kind of person that would mess up. Just like he loved the socially awkward situations.
Oh, he did. He did. I wished I had written them down at the time. He was good. He was good about anything that he did.
When Rex got, man, I did not know we were going to talk about Rex. When Rex ended up getting cancer, Dad would never say this. Dad depleted his savings over the course of several years, paying for treatments for Rex and taking him out to MD Anderson in Texas.
Well, he had a life debt.
Yeah, you did have a life debt.
Well, I had friends that would give me money at work when I would take off, and like Bobby Thorne. I come in one day, he said, well, when you going back to MD Anderson? I said, it'll be 3 weeks. He said, I won't pay for this trip. And he just sat down and he popped out $1,200. I didn't ask for it. That's the kind of friends I've had in my life. I've had some tremendous friends. Rex was the best, though.
Yeah. All right, so let me circle back, Dad, to...
Okay, Rex, my dog. Rex, my dog, right?
Yeah, that's your best dog ever.
Yeah, I had him about 16 years. Got him as a puppy. He was a half German Shepherd, half Collie. He was a mutt, and he grew up with me. Got him when I was about 4 or 5, and I guess, gosh, what would be 15 years? That would be about 21, 20. Yeah, I had to shoot Rex. He got hit by a car, broke his back, and he was paralyzed, and I put him in the basement and kept him for a while. But Rex was my buddy. And I guess any young man that has a dog at the age of 8, 9, or 10, something like that, that's what they remember.
You did it?
Rex,
you actually shot Rex because he wasn't healing?
had no choice.
That's an old Yeller moment.
That's one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. Yeah.
I shot a dog once. Oh, golly, I've got to... Did you know I accidentally killed my dog, Dad?
Yes, I do.
What are we doing?
Wasn't with a gun, though.
I'm sorry. Yeah, wasn't with a gun. I had a dog. I'm sorry. Matt's got this contorted look on his face.
Can we go back to quaint Southern stories about friendship?
This is something that happened. I accidentally, I told you, have I told you this? I had a dog that I took everywhere with me. Her name was Ellie Mae.
Okay.
And I used to perform very complex tests on the arsenal. And Ellie Mae...
Yeah, you did. Okay. Yes,
I told
you
you
did
this.
tell me this.
Yeah, I accidentally ran over her with a military vehicle one day. And so it was all. I still have a scar on my hand from where she bit me because she didn't know what to do.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Golly, dude.
Awful. Yeah.
So did you have to put her down?
Yeah, we did, but we made it to the. I'll never forget when that happened. So I did the loop, the racetrack loop I was doing for the thing I was doing. Hopped out of the vehicle, ran over, and she was on the ground. I grabbed her. She bit me. Woodrow, really good friend, saw it. He's a Vietnam vet, old guy. Ran over with a truck. Said, Destin? He said, throw her in the truck. I know where to go. We threw her in the truck. She'd already bit me. I was bleeding all over the place. And he grabbed a floor mat, and we used the floor mat to contain her. And we got over to the closest vet. I remember we called. There were, missile tests. We just got on the radio and said, I'll never forget Woodrow. TA1, this is Woodrow. Need the range clear. Have an emergency. Roger that. Range is clear. Never forget. And I was in the back holding her down. We got all the way to the vet and got there, and the vet said, "Oh, her spine is broken in the back." It said, it'd take a lot of money to fix this dog. And I was a young man. I didn't have a lot of money. I said, "It doesn't matter. Whatever it is, do it. I'll pay it." It's Ellie Mae, man. It's Ellie Mae, my best friend. Yeah, I'll pay it. Doesn't matter. He said, "Son, I don't think you understand. I'm talking like $4,000 or $5,000." I said, "I don't care if it's 10. Do it." And the vet looked at Woodrow, and Woodrow looked at me, and Woodrow said, "Come here, son." And he gave me a big hug.
No.
And he said, "We need to put your dog down." I said, "Yes, sir." And I just stayed there, and he just held me, and I said, "Yes, sir." And the vet said, "Okay, I'll be right back." Did it. Vet never charged me, never did anything. Just quietly made everything happen because of state laws. I had to go to the doctor because I had to get stitched up, and it was a thing. Yeah, dogs are important.
I had one named Dixie. Had to put him down. I named it Dixie. That's for the wrong gender. That was a mistake.
Okay, yeah, I noted the mistake when you said it.
Yeah, it was a mistake.
Yeah, man, we just killed a bunch of dogs on here, Dad.
Yeah, I guess we did.
I've never had to do that, but I thought I was going to. My dog, Maya, was up in the woods where we lived, and she got into it with something. I was out working on something at the other end of the property, and I hear screaming and yelling and stuff being thrown, and I look over, and my wife, Camilla, is throwing chairs off the deck, just down the hill, through the forest, just hucking chairs. I mean, this is recently.
Really?
Maya, stop! And just screaming, and the kids are all on the corner of the deck, impotently clapping aggressively toward something that was going on. What the heck? And I walk over, and it looks like my dog is in a fight with a rat the same size as the dog. Just this big glob of fur and fangs, and they're rolling down the hill and fighting, and then the big rat thing gets away, and I'm like, whoa, Maya's going to disengage. Maya chases it down under a log, and this is all kind of tumbling down this really aggressive hillside, and I realize that she's gotten into it with just a big old yellow-bellied marmot, which has got big, like, woodchuck kind of teeth.
What's a marmot?
Like a gigantic rodent. It might be the largest North American rodent. I think capybaras, the largest rodent.
Wow.
And so they're fighting, and they're rolling down the hill, and Maya, she will not back off. Maya is a sweet, sweet, very, very gentle dog, but she's in it. And so I went and grabbed a revolver, and I'm like, well, I'm going to need this to sort this thing out one way or another, even if it's just to make noise. And I go screaming down the hill, trying to control my footing, and the kids are still like throwing chairs. It's like guys, they're out of range. You don't get to throw any more chairs over the railing. Stop. It's hitting me. Yeah. And I run down there, and now they're down at the road at the bottom of the property, still rolling and fighting, and I'm yelling and clapping, and I get there, and Maya looks up at me. She's over this marmot. They're both bloodied, and it's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Her eyes were full black. Like no whites of the eyes, none of the little brown that you see.
Yeah.
It was like she was in a different mode. Eyes were just full black. Never seen it before. Never seen it since. And she looked up at me. I had her attention for a minute. I said, "Maya, stop, Maya." And she's like, "Yeah, I'm going to stop, but one more." And she puts her head down on the marmot and snap. Just gives it one good whip and then just backed right off.
It went back into domestic dog mode.
Went back into domestic dog mode. I walk over. The marmot was in pain. And so I was like, all right, well, I'm going to finish that up. But I'm right on the edge of somebody else's property. And so I went to put the marmot down, but it was kind of flailing at me a little bit still. And so I was a bit apprehensive. So obviously it took 2 shots. I'm embarrassed to say that, but it did because I didn't want to shoot. I didn't want to shoot the animal. But,
yeah.
And then Maya, as soon as the thing was dead, she went over, kind of was confident. Okay, the threat has been fully eliminated. Tail wagging, pupils went back to what they're normally like. It's like nothing went down. She's absolutely fine. Like there was a thing. The thing needed to be dealt with, and now we're good. And my heart was
I wonder
racing.
if that was adrenaline. I wonder if that was like adrenaline or something like that. Just that caused her to be so aggressive or protective.
Well, you watch movies and stuff where somebody takes like a stimulant, and sometimes they'll fancifully edit in such a way where the eyes kind of go big and wide open. Like, I don't know, maybe there's something in the genetic programming of a dog to be like, I need to be on sensory full alert here. And it was like she flipped into a mode where her senses were more dialed, or I don't know. It was strange, kind of spooky.
I just listened to a series of books. I mentioned it, the Wingfeather Saga, and there's a character in the book. I won't tell you who, but they use the color of the eyes to indicate what mode the character is in.
Oh.
It's interesting. Yeah, it's worth reading.
All black means kill the marmot mode. I know that much.
Yeah.
Well, Dad, oh, wait, last question.
Yep.
So I remember we took Thunder to
Yes.
oh, he knows already. We took Thunder to a friend's house. And what I speculate as an adult now and having to do strange dad things on occasion is that, because I knew Thunder had heartworms, I speculate we had to take Thunder to the friend so that the passing of Thunder would be easier for me. Is that what that was about?
No. We kept Thunder in the backyard when we moved to the house that we bought there.
Yes, sir.
And I had to put Thunder on a chain, and I do not want to do that. I don't like chained up dogs. I don't like really dogs in a pen, I don't. And the best thing to do, because of where we live, we didn't have a fence and we had spent too much money on the house and everything, was my wife worked with a lady that had property, and she wanted a Great Dane. She wanted a big dog. So we gave Thunder, I forgot the lady's name, but she called me one day, probably about a month or two after we gave Thunder to her. We gave Thunder away because we lived on 1 acre, and he needed to be able to run. And she said that he was standing against the house, leaning against the house, breathing very slow, trying to take deep breaths and everything. And we just assumed that was probably, she had given him heartworm medicine. And from what I understand, the heartworm dies and breaks apart and gets stuck in the pulmonary artery between the heart and the lungs. From what I read about, I don't know if that's true. But Thunder died, and Destin and I went and got him and took him out to the farm and buried him. Is that what you remember, Destin?
I don't remember burying Thunder, but every dog I've had that's died, we've buried down there, or I buried down there by the horse shed out there. Yeah. Except,
well, I buried Thunder in the dog pen where Buck and Satan used to live. Where I buried Thunder.
Oh, okay.
Just once again, it's Buck and Satan. Like I'm in this deep, sad, emotional place, and then you just said the name of your dogs again.
Well,
I'm back.
Yeah.
All the dogs are buried in that general area, with the exception of Bosco, right?
Right. Bosco. What was the last one we buried back there with Bosco? Banjo. Bosco and Banjo is buried under those big power lines.
Yeah, down in
We
Vulture
used
Valley.
bees for a while. Yeah. We haven't used Bingo yet, but we used Bosco and a lot of bees.
You guys were 9 out of 10 south until you said Vulture Valley and Banjo, and now we're 11 out of 10 south.
Yeah.
Well, we navigate by the kids navigate by Bosco's grave. They'll say,
Yes.
That's awesome.
"Hey, Daddy, I'm gonna go back there. Where is it? Oh, it's back by Bosco's grave. Oh, okay. It's just a rock
Yeah.
on the ground."
Yeah.
And I just felt it. My accent got deeper just then, didn't it?
Just then?
Oh, okay.
Your accent has been deeper since you proposed calling your dad.
Oh man, Dad, thank you for my upbringing. It was great, and it continues to be great.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
Okay. Well, before you go by Bosco's grave, you go by Bama's grave down there on the east side, west side.
Bama's grave.
Bama. Yeah.
Who was Bama?
Bama was a black dog. She was a good dog.
Yeah.
She was a good dog. But I buried her down there on the west side. Bosco's buried on the north side.
What are your thoughts?
Thunder's buried.
What are your thoughts on the fact that dogs don't live very long, Dad? What are your thoughts on Like, is it worth it? Like, you get a dog and you connect so deeply. It's man's best friend, and then they die after a short period. You know, their lifespans are just not the same as ours. What are your thoughts on that?
Maybe so we can have more friends. You know, a dog loves you no matter what you do. It's unconditional love. You can't do something to a dog that will make a dog not like you. Well, I guess you read the book North to Alaska. I guess you can, but it's just unconditional love, and it's hard to see them grow old.
Yeah.
My thoughts are, I've been blessed with every dog I've ever had. That was a blessing.
Yeah.
And the next one I have probably will be too. I remember probably every dog and spent a lot of time in the woods with them. We treated our hound dogs differently. You know, we didn't feed them enough so that they would be hungry when they'd go run. And a thin dog can run much, much faster than a fat dog. All my dogs are fat now. but if you can see the ribs and everything, whether it's a red bone or black and tan or a walker or whatever, I don't know what Highball was, what kind of dog Jerry Clower
Highball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it was a hungry dog, because you have to have a hungry dog to hunt with.
I've hunted with some squirrel dogs out of Mississippi, and hunted with a guy named Mike Cowart, and he has a dog named Tiger, and I'm convinced Tiger knows English.
Yeah.
He'll say, "Get on up ahead, Tiger. Go tree me a squirrel." And Tiger will do it.
Yeah.
Buckshot can tree a squirrel on command.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dad, I appreciate you, and this is fantastic. So Rex was your best dog ever, your best friend.
Yes, he was. He sure was. He was my best friend when I was a teenager, in my young years. Yeah. I think Aunt Lori has pictures of Rex. He was a dog when she was born. She's quite a bit younger than me.
Well, thank you very much, Dad. I appreciate it.
I do too.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Talk to you later.
Bye-bye. This episode of No Dumb Questions is sponsored by HelloFresh, a meal kit delivery system that sends food right to your house with a little card. It's a recipe card. You can just follow the card and you can cook awesome food. They have pre-measured ingredients. Everything that you need to make an awesome meal is right there in the package, and you can just go for it. It's amazing.
You know who's not going to like people signing up for HelloFresh? They're dogs, because you're going to eat all of it. You're not going to put any in that silver bowl and give it to them. There will be nothing left because it's wonderful.
That's a good point.
Tough luck, dog.
Yeah, Buckshot, when I'm starting to cook, you know, she's older now, and so she's starting to beg a little bit. And I think Tara and I are both doing it, but so when we're around each other, we don't give the dog scraps.
Oh, but when you're solo, you break the rule?
I think when we're solo, we break the rule. I've inferred this because I know I'm breaking the rule when she's not around, because I want to appear like I'm, yeah, we can't just feed the dog from the table. That would make her beg, right? Here you go, Buckshot.
Oh, that's so funny though. But you love the dog.
Yes.
And you want to eating together is something you do with the people in your life who you love. I want the dog to have a little bit. But I just thought about this. When I make steak out on the grill the way I do it, which is not terribly sophisticated, I just come in and pound that down. But if the dog's right there wagging the tail,
oh yeah,
like, hey, she lays her chin on my leg, and then we got her to say please, like the sign language for please.
No, you did not.
Yeah, she can't bend her elbow in to do the please thing by making
she rubs
a circle
her hand
on her chest.
belly. Yeah.
So she does it in the air in front of her.
No.
So she just walks up, sits next to me, and then she says please with her paw in sign language. And then, I'll give her a little treat if she does that.
Oh, yeah.
If it's like a steak that I made. But the other day, we made one of those little HelloFresh glazed steaks, like out of the pan.
Yeah.
And she came over and had the big eyes and did the like, hey, please. And I was like, oh, instinctively, like, sure. Oh, no.
It's HelloFresh.
No, I'm sorry.
Can't
This
do
is a
that.
HelloFresh steak. You get nothing.
can't do that. Dude, that's amazing that
Yeah,
she does that.
She knows that.
Yeah, so Buckshot knows that when the grill fires up, she just goes and sits by the grill. She knows I'm going to take care of her.
Something good will happen
She
here.
knows it's going to, often when I'm cooking something on the grill, I always put a little extra on there for Buckshot. But you're right. When it's HelloFresh, I'm sorry. I'm going to eat every bite of that myself. Sorry, dog.
Yeah, you have dog food. It'll be fine. You over there.
What is the promo code and the deal and all that?
The promo code is that you go to hellofresh.com/NDQ16, and then there's a little space for a promo code, and you put in also NDQ16, and you get up to 16 free meals and then 3 free gifts. So it's a lot of food for your dog to watch you eat and not get any. You can go and rifle through the HelloFresh.com website, and you're going to see a gajillion good-looking things that you have not tried before. It will expand your horizons. You can cook it because they send you recipe cards that make it make sense, and you can hit pause whenever you need to when you're traveling and coming and going, because I know that's how life works. HelloFresh.com/NDQ16. Use the promo code NDQ16 for up to 16 free meals and 3 gifts.
Thank you very much to HelloFresh for sponsoring, and let's get back to talking about dogs.
You asked a really good question there about what the point is of dogs and all of this, and at some point earlier in our conversation, it occurred to both of us that every single dog we're going to talk about here, the story ends up with the dog dying. And then you ask your dad, like, what's the point? He's talking about unconditional love. And I got quiet because I just wanted to soak that in. He's got a lot of experience. He knows what he's talking about. But they do all end with saying goodbye. Your story about Ellie Mae, I remember what it felt like to go out and discover that, I'm trying to make light of it, but that's emotional coping. The cameo was gone. That was my first lesson about death. That was really, really tough. Maybe my second lesson. We lost a kitten as well. But it seems like part of the reason that we keep putting ourselves through the goodbye with these dogs that become part of our family is every time we do that, we're rehearsing saying goodbye to each other. You take the dog in and you have to put that dog down. I'm practicing for the reality that someday I will say goodbye to somebody I really, really love. And that'll be tough as well. But it's kind of like one last gift that we get from man's best friend on the way out the door is the blessing of goodbye.
So Maya's your favorite dog ever?
Yeah, Maya's my favorite dog ever.
I think Buckshot's mine. Well, no. Ellie Mae was amazing. Ellie Mae was good. She could jump up in the truck with me and go right around. She was. It'd be between Buckshot and Ellie Mae. Can I tell you one funny dog story before we end? Because I don't want the whole thing to feel like an Old Yeller ending.
Yes.
Okay. So the dog did end up dying, but I got it in my head for some reason that I wanted a 3-legged dog.
You were actively seeking this out.
Actively seeking a 3-legged dog to the point where I pulled out an ad in the Thrifty Nickel paper for a 3-legged dog.
Thrifty Nickel.
And it said, wanted 3-legged dog. And I put an address on there, but the address was clearly a fake address. And so I got a call from the Thrifty Nickel, and the Thrifty Nickel said, hey, I see the ad for the 3-legged dog here. Is this real? I said, yes, ma'am. I paid you money on the website. This is real. She's like, yeah, but I just saw the address. And I'm like, well, this can't be real because it's clearly a joke address. I was like, well, yeah, but I wanted 3-legged dogs. She said, why? And I said, well, I've observed that every 3-legged dog I've ever interacted with, or tripaw, as I like to call them, they seem to enjoy life more. They seem to be kinder, and they just are so grateful that someone loves them, is taking care of them. And you got a tripaw with the front leg gone and one of the back leg gone. They're different and they behave. I was like, I just want to give a dog like that a home because I know a lot of times they're cast out, and I want to give them another shot. And everyone I've seen's been so grateful to be alive. She goes, oh, okay. Well, sure, we'll run the ad. I think that's crazy, but we will run the ad. Thank you very much for verifying that this is true. It's like, thank you. First day. Remember, I live in North Alabama. First day, I started getting calls. Calls.
Plural.
One guy goes, this is the funniest thing ever. He goes, hey, is this the guy who wants a 3-legged dog? I said, yes, sir. He goes, I ain't got a 3-legged one, but I got a 4-legged one I'm trying to get rid of, and I'll throw in the hacksaw for free.
That did not happen.
100% happened. I got that phone call. A man offered me a dog and a hacksaw. He was laughing when he did it. He understood.
He kind of meant it.
But his point was, I'm trying to get rid of this dog. Will you take it? I'll give you a hacksaw. Hilarious. I couldn't have written that. And then that was on day 1 of a 30-day ad run. I was like, I have made a mistake.
How many calls did you get?
I got several. I ended up with a 3-legged dog.
What was the 3-legged dog's name?
Lord Horatio Nelson.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
The hero of the Battle of Trafalgar.
Yeah. He was missing a leg, right? I think so.
Oh, I see what you're doing.
Yeah, called him Lord Nelson.
I see what you're doing.
It's pretty good. Yeah, had Lord Nelson for a while. Only a couple months. You know, he was on the decline. And another person, I got this reputation of being the guy that likes 3-legged dogs. And another lady found a 3-legged dog. I get the phone call, and so I have the dog, and I love it. It's a great dog. And kept it for about a month as well. They don't last long for some reason. And turns out it was a kid's dog that was had some challenges, and this dog was his best friend. And once we figured out that it was this, I don't know what the proper term is these days, this mentally challenged young man. So once we found out it was his dog, we reunited him, and it was a great, lovely story because they were best friends, and they, as far as I know, that dog lived forever.
As far as I know as well. May they all.
Okay, I don't feel like we actually covered the topic because once we got Dad talking, I couldn't stop him.
Well, that's what happens when you do dog stories, though. Is dogs, they feel like they're kind of in the background, but they're in the background for everything. And so you start pulling on the thread of dog stories, and it gets into everything about life, which is kind of the beauty of it. It's man's best friend.
I'm not done talking about dogs.
I'm not done talking about dogs.
So how do you want to do this?
I want another dog episode because there's so much more.
Okay.
No, I'm not kidding. I think we need another dog episode. Like, not next, but just down the road a few.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do it.
Agreed.